to the channel where we all could learn and grow together. As you see, it's finally a beautiful, mostly sunny day out here, and I'm finally going to get to start doing more stuff outside. I hope we do got some more chances of rain all next week, but hopefully in between the raindrops I can start making good on some promised videos. And one of the videos I promised early on in some of my earlier videos, when I started doing some of the gardening videos, is I promised I would give a view of my composting, what I do composting. And because of the weather, I just haven't been able to fulfill that promise. So today I like to take you over and show you what I do for my compost. Come along with me. Okay, first I apologize to neighbors' dogs. There's some people running around the neighborhood and the neighbors' dogs are going crazy, so they're just doing what they're supposed to do, and it might be in the background. But what I want to show you is my composting bin here. Now, I'm new at composting, just like everything else I talk about me being new at, but I've only started composting maybe the last couple 3 years. And this here's a bin. This here was a little truck bed liner here, and or truck bed toolbox. Is a plastic one for like maybe a little S10 or a little Ford Ranger or a little small pickup truck, and it was starting to fall apart and the lid was coming off of it, so I just stuck it here on the side of the garden. I started composting in it, and it's not really a tumbler or something where you could turn it, so I had to kind of use a backhoe or something, kind of mix it up. But this is also turned into somewhat of a worm bed, because I put some of our stuff that doesn't have salt or anything in it, but it's food, and it's like the hearts of the cabbage or potato peelings or apple peelings or different things like that goes in here. And as you can also see, leaves and stuff goes in here. But I pretty much keep this covered with either leaves or non-treated grass clippings or straw, because during the summertime this area here could get pretty warm, and the worms inside of it, I don't want them to get too hot. So this area actually stays shaded pretty good, and then I let this area here around this get overgrown with weeds a little bit, because it keeps the container cool. So this area here kind of stays overgrown a little bit. But this here basically is my composting. And what I try and do is have a start from this end, where I start putting all my stuff here that needs composted. I kind of have also another area here. I got stuff that needs to be broke down in little smaller pieces that I want to compost. And then from there, it'll go into here. Underneath the leaves are the non-treated grass clippings. I keep the leaves and stuff on it as a layer of protection and everything, because there is worms in here. And the reason why there's worms in here is because someone told me it would help my compost bin out. And so I put 2 dozen red worms, and maybe there might have been some night crawlers I put in here too, that you get from a fishing store that you get fishing bait from. And I put those worms in here a couple years ago, and I promise you there's probably at least, there's nowhere in this bin I can't reach in and grab a handful of worms now. This whole thing is just full of worms. So But just to show you how this composting is turning out. Get in here. Here's some of this that's still in the process of breaking down, but it's nice, rich, dark soil here. It's just stuff that, some sod and stuff I put in here is breaking down. There's not much veggies and stuff for the worms to feed on in here right now because I haven't put anything in here all winter. And some of this is kind of still frozen, so there may not be too much worm activity. I don't know yet. But I know last year when I uncovered this, even from a hard freeze, it didn't seem to hurt none of the worms. So I haven't got to look in this too much this year. This is kind of an unboxing of my worm, my compost. So, but see here. But here you see this compost soil is really nice and rich, breaking down pretty nicely. I'm not really seeing too many of my worms I was talking about though. Maybe this winter being a little colder might have done them in, I don't know. But all this stuff is starting to break down pretty nice. Again, I'm still new at composting, so this may or may not be the correct method, and definitely kind of unorthodox maybe. But not really seeing too much of my worms I was just talking about. But now that it's getting warmer, there's a snail right here. Put him back in there. But yeah, I definitely need to start adding more stuff in here. I might, if I don't find too many more worms, I might throw some more in here, give them something to munch on. But I am learning some stuff about starting some worm beds, and it's something here in the near future I'm thinking about doing. And I was thinking this here might have been turning into a worm bed, but maybe the winter was a little harder this year for the worms to stay in here, because I'm not really seeing any. I'm seeing more snails though. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Here's another little snail here. I think he's just a shell though. I don't think he's in this one no more. Put that back in there. But normally I've been trying to put stuff for composting this away, and then as it starts composting I'll work it down that way. But it's still a work in progress, and it's still something I'm learning how to do. And as I get a little better at this, I'm hoping to maybe even get some other compost bins going, or get something that could tumble or something. Aha! Moving slowly, but here's one worm found on this side. They must got food over here, because I'm seeing a few more worms. So yeah, there is some worms in this side. Coming down this way, I'm starting to see the worms. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a few worms in here, not much. Not like what I was thinking though. The winter might have been a little harder on it. I'll cover this back up. being real cold. Maybe a lot of them froze or something. But the soil in here, I think, is looking pretty nice. A lot of the stuff I put in here during the winters done broke down. So, bring you up here. Hopefully get me back in the frame. So see, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. One of the things I do with a compost bin, since this is kind of small and it's hard to just spread it out in this garden, is I make a thing called a compost tea. And basically what you do, I'll show you the bucket. I gotta clean it because it's sitting here with water all winter. Now it's got algae stuff in it, so this here needs cleaned really bad. But you take a bucket like this and you fill it with water that does not have chlorine or anything in it. The water's been filtered or something, but make sure it don't have any chlorine in it. And then you could take a fish tank bubbler, the aerator for your fish tanks, and the stone, and put it in there so it bubbles. And then you take a burlap sack and make like a tea bag pocket, like you're making a tea bag, and you take some of this compost and all the nutrients that's in the compost and put inside the burlap sack tea bag you gotta make yourself, and you tie that up, put in here with the water and the bubbler, and let it aerate for a while, and it allows the compost tea or the compost to mix in the water, so the nutrients comes out of the compost into the water, and it makes like a tea you could put in a jug and then water it directly to your plants. So then the nutrients from your compost is more the natural instant. When you just put this compost in the soil, it might take a few weeks to acclimate and get to your plants. But if you want more of an instant result, like you would with a Miracle Grow, you can make yourself a compost tea and then water it directly at the roots. Or sometimes plants also absorb things through the leaves. So if you get a spritzer bottle and put some of this in a spritzer bottle and spritz some of the leaves down, sometimes it can absorb the nutrients through the leaves too. So basically you can use this here kind of as a small bin like this. You can get more effect out of it and make some of this last longer by using it as a compost tea. Now if you got a real big garden, obviously you're going to need a whole lot more compost, and it'd be kind of tedious to make a bunch of gallons of compost tea. You would have to find a bigger operation to do this. But if you just got small gardening, or you garden out of tires or something, then the compost tea method works really great, because one, it gives it the instant shot or the instant boost of the nutrients, but still with you watering the ground, it is still absorbing the soil so it can feed for a good while. But if you got some tips on this composting that could help me out, and also other people could read in the comment section and learn some tips and tricks on composting, feel free to comment and leave suggestions. And this method I've been doing for a couple years, and so far it's turning out to seem like I'm now going to really start being able to use more of this compost, because it's really, there's more nutrients in it than when I started, and a lot more good black soil in it. Things I do put in here is, like I said, is also banana leaves I put in here. Anything that's naturally breaks down by air and it naturally came out of the soil and it's natural food is definitely a good plus to put back into your soil or in your compost. And so there's also A lot of other good things. I've put eggshells in here in the past, and so those are good in here. But you definitely want to keep salt or anything that has man-made chemicals in it. You want to keep it out of your compost. You want to keep your compost as natural as you can. Maybe when things warms up, then most of the worms might be more towards the bottom. I don't know. I'm still learning about worms, so I was hoping to show you a handful of worms, but to my surprise, maybe the winter and the fact that it's been pretty cold still might have ruined my worm population. I'm hoping it didn't, but if so, I'm gonna try and start some actual worm bins in the future. But I want to do it properly and everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and as we get closer to your weekend, I hope you enjoy your weekend. You have a good one.